Hello, this is Maya Andreasen again, and we're going to be wrapping up the foot controls with the reverse lock foot. So we still need to do a little bit of cleanup. One of the things we're going to do are grab our IK handles. I'm just going to control select them in the outliner here, the RPL IK01 and RPR IK01. I'm going to middle mouse drag them into the IKs 01 group node that is under the Global Move 01 group node. So that's where we're going to put that. And then we are going to select our locators here, and we're going to middle mouse drag them into the control objects group. And then our joints, we are going to middle mouse drag into our joints 01 group. So we now have some nice organization here instead of a whole lot of disorganization. All right, so we do want to wrap up these controls with a ball joint control. And you can create this to look any way that you want. It could be a circle, it could be a cube. I'm going to do the letter B. So I am going to create, see if we can figure out the new type tool. Uh-oh, where'd it go? Type 1, there we go. So it's going to be up here, and it's going to be the letter B. And we are going to create a curve from the type. So that's what we wanted to do. So now that we've done that, we're going to delete its history, get rid of the actual curve mesh. We don't need it. Select the 3 curves it's made out of and hit Shift P to unparent. Get rid of that group. And remember, we want to show our shape nodes, okay? Before we attach everything here, we're going to center pivot, freeze transformations, and delete history from all of these curves. We are then going to go and select the shape nodes for 2 of the curves. And then this top curve here, the polycurve 1, we are going to select the actual curve. And in our mel line, we are going to type parent space -R space -S or shape. So you can type out shape, that's what the S stands for, and we're going to hit enter. And what that does is basically parents the shape nodes to our object. So now we have one object, and it's the letter B. And I am now going to go back to my channels and freeze transformations again, delete history, and here we are. All right, so we have the letter B. I'm going to call this CC_L_ball 01, CC standing for control curve, okay? All right, so what we want to do is we want to snap by pressing V this control to our ball curve. And then we can press F to zoom in. I also want to make this a lot smaller. It's like super big. And we are then going to freeze transformations again. All right. So now that we've done that, we need to orient this to our joints, okay? All right. And we also need to move it. So I'm going to go into component mode, select my vertices, and move it up. While you are positioning your ball control, you probably want to make your actual model visible, because it would be very easy to move it and think you've moved it up enough and moved it out enough so that's easily selectable, and you make your character visible and it's inside the pants. So we don't want that, or inside your character's legs. So we don't want that. Make sure you move it in component mode, because you want your pivot point to be at the ball joint here. You want it to stay at the ball joint. So if you move it in object mode, you will be moving your pivot point as well. So just keep that in mind, all right? So let's look at our ankle locator. There it is. We want to look at its rotate Y values, because we want to transfer those rotate Y values to our ball control. Our values are 0, so we actually don't have to do anything. All right, that's great. So we are going to, I'm also going to duplicate this. All right. I'm going to duplicate it now for the right-hand side. All right. And for the right-hand side, I'm going to press V and snap it over to the right and freeze transformations. Because the rotate Y is at 0 for both of them, it's just easy to do both at the same time. All right, so now that we have done that, we are going to select our ball control, shift select our heel control, okay, and press P to parent. All right, now it looks like our ball control, we have some values on it now. We're gonna have to freeze transformations on the ball control again, okay? All right, make sure everything's zeroed out. We might as well do this over on the right-hand side as well. P to parent and freeze transformations. We also wanna save often. All right, so we wanna create a new locator. And this locator is going to allow, it's basically going to drive the ball joint. So it'll allow it to rotate the way we want it to move. And then we will parent our ball control to the locator. So let's create a locator and hit W to move and press V to snap it. And we want to snap it to our ball joint. And then we want to name it. So I am going to name my locator Loc-Ori. Loc being short for locator, Ori short for orient, underscore L underscore ball 01. All right. So now that we have named it, let's duplicate it and snap that duplicate to the other side. And we're gonna call this Loc-Ori R ball 01. So they're both named accordingly. I'm also now going to make this a lot smaller by going to my local scale, X, Y, and Z, and making it 0.2. So local scale in the channels box. All right, if it's too small, you can always make it bigger. It's a little bit small. Let's try 0.3. Let's do that on the other side too. All right, so let's grab this and hit 0.3. All right, there we go. Okay, so select your reverse lock ball joint. Let's zoom in here. And then shift select your locator, or you can control select it. Remember, you can do either or in your outliner, okay? And then we are going to go to constrain orient options box. Make sure maintain offset is not checked and click add. So now what this does is this repositions our locator so that it is oriented to the joint, and then we will delete our orient constraint. We're going to do the same on the other side. So we are going to select our reverse lock joint, and then I'm actually going to control select over here the locator, constrain orient, and then I am going to delete that constraint. All right, so we're going to go to our Loc-Ori L ball 01, and we've named it. And then we are going to select our reverse lock ball joint. We're going to try to. This time we're going to do an orient constraint, and we're going to keep it. Okay, so we're selecting the locator first this time, and then we're selecting the reverse lock joint. We're going to go constrain orient. And over here under rotate X, Y, and Z, it should be all zeros. It should be nice and clean, and we'll see the little blue there that indicates the constraint, and we are going to keep that constraint. All right, so let's do this on the other side. Always good to repeat our steps. So we're going to select our locator first, and then we are going to shift select a reverse lock bone, okay, and then we are going to do constrain orient. All right, there should be no shifting, there should be no flipping, and it should be nice, clean zeros. Okay. All right. We're almost done. Now we are going to select our locator. And then we are going to shift select our ball control and hit P to parent. And now, if I move my ball control, it moves my entire joint forward, okay? All right, so we're gonna do this on the other side. So remember, you always select your child first. So I'm actually over here gonna select my Loc Ori R ball 01. So my locator on my right-hand side, I'm gonna shift select in my work window, my ball control, I'm gonna hit P to parent. And then if I select my ball control, I should be able to test it out, and it works, and Control S to save. All right, so we have created our right-hand side. So there's a couple things now that we need to do. We need to clean things up. So our controls are already red and blue, which is great. But we need to shift select both of these, and we need to make it so only the rotation values are available for the animator. So I'm selecting the translate X, Y, and Z, scale X, Y, and Z, and visibility, and going channels, lock and hide selected. So the only things that I will be able to manipulate now are the rotation values, okay? All right. The other thing we want to do is we want to hide our locators. So I'm going to Control S to save this. So this is a tricky thing, okay? So for the locator inside the ball joint, that one's easy. We're just going to select both of those, and we're going to go to visibility and type in 0, which will turn the visibility of our locators off. But the locators that are located within the character, if we click 0, every single one of our controls will disappear. And the reason why is because this locator is the parent. So if I were to hit 0 here, all of our controls, which we need, will disappear. So how do we make the locator invisible without actually making our controls invisible? We're actually going to go to the attribute editor for the locator. So I'm going to hit Control A, which is going to open our attribute editor. And under our shape node for our locator, if we go to Object Display, you'll see that there is a visibility option. If we uncheck our visibility option, it makes our locator invisible without making all of our controls invisible, which is great. So we're going to do this on the other side too. You actually have to do this one at a time, unless of course you make like a Mel script to do it automatically. So we're going to go to the right-hand side locator now, and we are going to uncheck visibility, and it is no longer visible. It looks like it's visible over here, but it's not. We unchecked visibility under Object Display in the attribute editor. Okay, so we are going to go back to channels here. And there we go. I'm going to save one last time. And if we take a look at our character, we can see that every single one of our controls is easily selectable, very important, okay? None of them are inside of our character. Remember, that's a no-no. I am now going to make my character invisible, and I'm going to test out all my controls. So that's great, that works. My banking controls are working. Obviously, none of them are skinned to the character. That's okay. Test them all out. Make sure they don't have any values on them, except for, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1. Test out our foot controls in just a minute. Those should also be working. All right, that's great. We will have one more video, and that last video is going to be creating a knee control. All right, bye-bye.